Is it half past officials? We've got 1 minute. Right, 1 minute. I've got 1 minute. We're just waiting for you to sit down. That's all it was. You're fine. Just take a minute. If you can take a minute, that's it. Walk slowly, because then that'd be perfect timing then. And then we can start. You've still got another 40 seconds to go before you can sit down. So hang on. No, you've been superseded by these people coming down here now. So, no, don't peek too early, because they're only just sitting down. You've got another 30 seconds. 30 seconds to sit your backside on the seat. That's another 20 seconds. Another 10. That's it, don't follow through. There we are. We're ready to introduce the players. We're mad here, aren't we? But we don't care. Right, okay, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, an all-Scottish lineup, the 2013 and 14 Scottish Indoor Pairs Champion, and also the 2008 World Indoor Bowls Club Singles Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker! Fantastic stuff. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 World Indoor Pairs titles each on paper, this 2-year partnership should prove to be a force to be reckoned with. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mervyn King and David Gourlay!
Thank you, Richard Baird, and I think we're in for a really interesting game tonight. I hope you enjoyed your tea and you're back sat with us here on the live and in full HD World Bowls YouTube.
Track length 28.5 metres.
And we've got an exciting game on the cards tonight. We've got David Gourlay and Mervyn King, who've played in this event a couple of times together. And I was reliably informed earlier today, they've actually never won a game. And they're playing against one of the most consistent pairs on the circuit, Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker. Been very successful here in the past. They're both performing in the World Open Singles. Start there from Mervyn. And this is the first round proper. Out here on the portable rink at Potter's Resort. Kindly sponsored by Just Retirement. I think a few more people will come into the auditorium as they finish their tees off. Well, Mervyn looks on a good track again.
2 red.
Quite fortunate in these games of pairs that the players are actually mic'd up along with our umpire and marker. Great, because you get to hear what the players are considering to play with shot selection. For those of you out there who like to know what the players are bowling with, bowls-wise, earlier on in the game. Well, David Gawley, that's playing now, is playing with Taylor's International. His partner's playing with Arrows. And Ronnie Duncan's actually playing with Arrows, and he's actually playing with Alex Marshall's Arrows, so they're well trained to go to the jack. And Colin Walker plays with Henselite Tigers. Looks down a good track here. Oh, Colin. Ronnie's urging it on. David just coming up to have a look at this. Heard quite clearly Mervyn was giving him a couple of options to play there. Colin's choosing to have a look as well. There's not a lot he can do about it. All four of the green players' bowls have been played. We play 2 bowl pairs here, and we play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie break.
Yeah.
Choosing to play. What a great bowl from David there for his second bowl in the game. And the umpire being called into action at the very first end. Our umpire for this game is Dan Blewett. And our marker is Mike Davis. Part of the very strong umpiring group here at the World Bowls Tour. I think I mentioned them all in individual names earlier on in the day. Well, I'll delightfully tell you that I'm being joined by one of those umpires for the second set of this game today. I mentioned her earlier, Sandra McLeish is in the building and she's joining me for the second set. So if I have any trouble interpreting the Scottish accents of these players, I'm sure Sandra will help me out there. Because of course we have one Englishman out there, Mervyn King, and 3 Scottish players. David Gawley now resides out in Spain, but he was the very, very successful coach of the Commonwealth Games Scotland team. Well, 2 fairly loose openers there. 2 bowl pairs is never easy. Only 2 bowls to correct. Needs to just pass his own here. Further it runs, better it is. This looks down a very good track. Colin's urging it up.
One green.
this looks a very good line as well, all on pace. Just might be lacking a touch. And the pace out on the portable rink changes. There's a lot of people in the auditorium, it can change, and if it's cool outside it can change. Various different things can alter the pace of it. The seeded pairing of Gawley and King in a bit of trouble here. Something just disturbing David there. It's one of those things as people have finished the dinners and are coming back in. Just can disturb the players. Well, this looks on a great line for David's bowls. Whatever happens, it's going to save. If it doesn't get shot, yeah, well played, David. He's in the area. Not an easy shot to play on the portable, and just got the gap.
One shot, Gawley King.
So after 2 ends in this opening set, it's all tied at 1-1.
Jack length 27 metres.
That's a great bowl there by Mervyn King. We've just actually had the scores corrected there. It's actually 2-0 to David Gawley and Mervyn King.
Hungary.
A few more now coming into the crowd. Probably alter the temperature a little bit. We have 2 games tonight because going up after this we have Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett, and they're playing the winners of the afternoon game, which was David Corkill and Chris Eady. So where we've got 3 Scotsmen out there in this game, we've got 3 Irishmen by birth anyway in the game later on. So stay with us, and then it all starts again tomorrow morning at 9:30. Early start. Saturday morning, while you're having your breakfast, join us at 9:30. on a good track. Just tipped it enough to tip the jack back to Mervin's bowl there. So red holds one. Well, there you go. That's the classic example of when the guys are mic'd up. They just call the shot for you there. It was good to hear what these top players are thinking of playing. Means you can sit at home, decide what shot you would play, and then listen to how the experts would play it. He's quite kind of looking for a 1-2 here. He got the one, but the red bowl stayed.
One shot for lane king.
See a few more feeding into the crowd now. Of course, with these World Bowls Tour games, we play 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessarily, a 3-end tie-break.
Makes 28 metres.
And we're live here at Potter's Leisure Resort, the home of the World Indoor Bowls Championship, kindly sponsored by Just Retirement. Fantastic place to come to. They look after us very well. Well, Mervyn just slipped up with that first bowl. You could tell by the little smile on his face he wasn't happy. I think from when the draw came out, this was billed to always be one of the top ties of the first round. Well, needs to run. And just finished a touch short again, Mervyn there.
Oh, he didn't want to just go hang on, I beat it good there, mate. Jack's Iranian's good.
Here you go for all you Scottish out there. I'm sure you understood every word Colin just said. But I think for those of us that aren't that strong a Scottish accent, you could tell by his hand gestures what he was asking Ronnie to play. We'll have a word and see if it is possible in future for us to provide subtitles. I'm sure when Colin listens to this back at dinner tonight, he said to me, "You can pick on me as much as you want, because I'll just get you back." Colin's a familiar face at the PBA qualifiers. I played him earlier on in the season. We always have a bit of banter. Well, David, very close here. Needs to sit down, I think. Looks on a good line again. Any touch on that jack makes a 3. Well played, Colin Walker.
3 green.
Handshake between the two there. David just trying to draw to that green bowl. This is all on his pace. Just lacking that touch of weight. Well, opportunity here for Colin Walker to draw another. Oh, you don't have to trot back down the rink, Colin. There's no shot clock in the pairs. You've got all the time in the world with this one. But a lot of these top players get into the habit of playing fairly quickly, because obviously in the main singles they then have to play under the shot clock. Well, he didn't like that when he released it because there was a bit of a noise in the background.
Three shots, Duncan and Walker.
So after 4 ends of this first set, we're tied now at 3-all. These players know each other well, so there's a few smiles about.
26.5 metres.
This looks to just go under. It's an interesting rink to play on. As I mentioned before, you can only really practice at this venue on this portable rink to play on it, because it's not the same as the rinks you'll have at home. Yeah, good ball there from Mervyn.
One red.
Well, Mervyn just lacked the pace with that second delivery. Urging this ball up. Well, every roll with this. What a great ball from David there.
Reach the side, Colin. Get the 2 heads to the jack.
Looks on a decent line for it. Just needs to... Like it would have swung to those red balls, but good result there. We'll see shortly how far that off is in the ditch. Mike Davies just marking it there. There's probably about 4 feet there. Not easy when the players are playing to a jack that's in the ditch or off to the side, but most of these guys are very experienced at international level. Now I think David would his chances of drawing to this. This is all on the pace. The line's very, very good here. Shot ball in. 5 ends. David Gawley and Mervyn King take a 4-3 lead. I'm just having a bit of a discussion here on length. Mervyn King is one of the most consistent leads in England. He used to lead all the time internationally, now plays a bit further back in the rink, but one of the most consistent, steady lead players. They're both very good friends, Mervyn and David. David was a bit concerned that that ball wasn't bending. It seemed to hang off a touch. Mervyn shaking his head with a wry smile on his face there. Ronnie's just got to adjust his last delivery. He's only just overplayed. Looks a good line again. Over adjusted it. It's not easy. You're trying to put both your bowls in close to take the pressure off your skip. I hope that your skip has just got to back up and put positional bowls in, as was the case this morning with Louis Rideow and Sam Tolchard. Louis nailed every lead bowl in, took all the pressure off Sam, and those two guys played it really well. Right, David Gawley. He's followed this bowl up, so he must like it. Yeah, a good bowl. Looks in the area here. He's asking it to ease, but looks good to me. This has got to be perfect weight. It's a lot tighter line. Normally puts these bowls out on. You won't be happy with that. Shake of the head. These top players know as soon as they release a bowl where it's going. Can you draw another off the other hand? He's very close. Great effort.
One shot, Duncan Walker.
He's after 6 ends. The game's all square again at 4-all. It's proving to be the game we thought. Nip and tuck. Looks on a good line for Ronnie's bowls, all on his pace. Great start here. They often say in commentary when games are tight, end 7's a key end. He might have just lost his weight a bit with this one. Mervyn was just questioning whether the last ball of Ronnie Duncan's was actually in his way for the draw. From our camera view here, clearly see it isn't. Can this bend? Oh well. As I say, get them anyway sometimes. A little bit of luck in these sets games. Well, Mervyn's encouraging this on. Just lacking in pace, I think.
Just try and nick the line, mate. Get mine solid onto the draft or pick the ball out.
Didn't like that. Did say to me earlier, did Colin, if I do any swear words, will he bleep them out? But I think he was cursing himself, certainly under his breath for that one. You know, knew as soon as he let it go. Well, David, can you make that adjustment? Just needs to run. What a great bowl there.
2 shots, 14 king.
So at that crucial 7th end, David Gawley and Mervyn King take 2 shots to take a 6-4 lead against Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker. For those of you just tuning in to a World Bowls Tour event for the first time, the players are playing with red and green bowls, and that is worked out by where you are in the draw. If you're the top of the draw, you play with red. Bottom of the draw, you play with green. So you can sometimes alternate between red and green bowls as you progress through the tournament. Most of these players have their own bowls, red and green. but if they don't, there is a pool of bowls supplied by the World Bowls Tour. Or as I mentioned before, if you're Ronnie Duncan, you go to your good mate Alex Tatty Marshall and ask if you can borrow his. David's urging this to hurry. I think he feels it's just lacking pace again. Good track from Ronnie Duncan. A good ball from Ronnie there. It does leave David a shoulder to rest on. They say as commentators have got to be impartial but slightly biased in this game because the man about to step on the mat, David Gawley, has the task of playing with me in the ladies, well rather the mixed world match play at the end of the week. He looks on a very good track with this. I think he's just doubting the weight of it, which he was correct to do. Just finished 2 feet short. Mind what a close end we had at the last end. All 4 players have just struggled a touch here, but Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker holding 3 shots. I can only tell by David's body language, he's telling it to slow. A big chance here for Colin Walker. It's closed for 3 and he can draw in for another. It looks all the way down the right line here. Touches the jack. Probably guarantees the 4, I would think. Conceded. That's a massive turnaround at the 8th end. That 4 gives Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker an 8-6 lead. Going into the last end of this first set of 9 ends. You don't often see a 4 dropped this level. Both of the skips just checking what the scores are. We have screens within the auditorium for the spectators to keep track of the scores. This looks like a great opening bowl from Ronnie Duncan. David Gawley and Mervyn King need 2 to tie this set, 3 to win it. Line looks good from Mervyn. Needs to reach really to be giving themselves a chance. Looks good again here, Ronnie.
Right again, Ronnie. Come on, run. Run high.
Colin urging it up. Yeah, good bowls there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good, yeah.
We heard the discussion between the two players there. Irvin is really more of a draw player than a chasing player, but I think he feels if he gets something behind the jack for David, it gives him a chance.
2-3.
Colin looks good here as well. Just finished that touch short. David will have to shake something up here to give himself a chance with his last bowl. Anything into those two green bowls. And good track.
Hurry, mate.
Well, another short bowl puts him in all sorts of problems at this last end of the first set.
3 green.
And marker Mike Davis just indicating it's 3 shots to green. I think Colin will look to the fact that David will probably play a little bit of more of an aggressive bowl with his last. Just looking at all the angles. I'll leave Colin to tell you all about that.
That's what's really cool, because you could lose to, yeah, that spot even.
There you go. They decided to play to the spot.
From there as well.
Looks good for it. Slightly overplayed, but it's actually possibly just gone through. Irvin's now looking at the angles. Irvin's asking for the perfect bowl. David's more of an aggressive player. Any sort of connection on the jack over to where Ronnie Duncan's standing at the moment would possibly get them 2. Right, needs to get a count of 2 out of this bowl. Looks to be under the line, but great effort.
1 shot in the first set, Duncan Walker.
So, Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker take the first set 9-6, and we move into the second set. Again, just to remind you, it's 2 sets of 9 ends, and if necessary, a 3-end tie-break. At this point, I'd like to welcome into the commentary box Sandra McLeish. Thanks for joining me, Sandra.
Hi Janice, very entertaining game here.
Yes, it was always going to be on the cards for being a good game, and it's proved to be so far. And I'm glad you've joined me for any Colin Walker comments that I don't understand, you can let the viewers know.
Yep. Two of my cup mates here playing against David and Mervyn. Interesting to see, Janice, that both Ronnie and Mervyn are playing with the aero bowls but choosing to play the opposite sides of the carpet. Ronnie normally plays with the revolutions, but I believe if he's playing with Alex bowls, I'm assuming they're grooves.
Yeah, he was telling me at lunch, or dinner rather, that he'd asked Alex if he could play with his... Well, he'd actually asked if he could play with grooves, and Alex had offered him his grooves. So I think he felt they would be better for performing on this rink, and it looks good here. But certainly early doors in this event, from players I've spoken to, Sandra, that have practiced on it, all four hands seem to be okay. We do know obviously that changes as the fortnight goes on. Mervyn not wanting to be short with this.
I think he's tended to play short the first set, so he's probably making sure he's just that wee bit past, if anything, in the second set.
Gives your skip that bit more of a chance if you've got bowls at the back.
One green and a blue.
And you're a glutton for punishment, Sandra. You've come down for two tastes of Potters. You're here for this weekend, and then back with the umpire markers hat on next weekend.
Yeah, time for the awards this weekend.
Good again here, Colin Walker. Arriving on the forehand, probably one of the nicest things you can ever tell David Gawley. He likes laying down his forehand. He's just missed this though.
That could come right through, mate. Maybe those red ones. Yeah. I'm down to that wee spot, might lie there. Good there, see if he runs the dark right through.
Colin and Ronnie will want to get off to a good start in the second set. Make the most of that first set victory. He's still got to try it, I think, Sandra, hasn't he? It is down there.
Only shot he's got on, really.
He's played it under again. Looks like our umpire's been called out. 2 shots conceded. Looking at the third. Just make sure all the players remove all the bowls that aren't in question. One question we do get asked for the umpires is, which bowl do you go to first, Sandra, when you're out there?
I think it probably depends on what hand you like to have on the measure. I personally use my left hand on the measure, so in that scenario there, I would measure the red bowl first. A lot of people choose to measure the bowl that's flat, like the red bowl is just now, and there was one tilting. I think it's everybody's different.
Yeah, there's no actual set
way.
rule, no. That's 2 shots to Colin Walker and Ronnie Duncan. So they take a 2-0 lead in the first end of the second set. Could we possibly have a first tie break on the cards?
28 metres.
Ronnie and Colin play a lot together back home, playing most of the nationals together. And have been quite successful, winning a number of Scottish titles.
that's key, as you say, for some of the viewers to realise. And the way that the pairings work here is the top 16, starting in order from 1 down, get to choose their partner out of the top 16, whereas qualifiers, like Ronnie and Colin, that have come through a tough qualifying process at Falkirk Indoor, played 4 or 5 games in the day to qualify. They've played together in other events as well. That's why probably the most successful pairing out there has been Alex Marshall and Paul Foster, both MBEs. They play together in other things as well as here. And of course, Nicky Brett and Greg Harlow. They were club mates at the City of Ely. Played nationals together for a number of years until this year Nicky Brett's moved to play with his daughter out of Huntington. David Gawley was one of the most successful players in the world pairs. He's won it a number of years, and we'll give a shout out at this point in time to Billy Jackson, because David Gawley won it back to back with Billy Jackson. Really successful pairing. Billy still tries to qualify, dropped out of the top 16. He's qualified for the International Open in March. Feels like he's got his fire back, and also way back to the Super Bowl back in 2014. He was the Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
So he's not disappeared off the scene, for those of you that wonder where players go to. It's just it's really hard to qualify for these events.
With Billy dropping out, and at the same time Mel's partner Kelvin Kirkhout dropped out as well, and I think they both needed new partners, and I think it was an obvious pairing.
Yes, Kelvin, obviously one of the characters of the game. Always missed at events. Well, David, again on a good track. What's the weight like though? I think you might just be lacking again.
Yeah. Two, measure for 3, maybe.
3 shots, Duncan Walker.
3.
The partnership of King and Gawley early on today told me that they've played together. I think this is the 3rd year together, and they've never won a game. Need to pull the socks up now, otherwise the very strong pairing of Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker. We'll be stepping into the 2nd round, where the winner of this game will have the joys of playing the defending champions, Robert Paxton and Simon Skelton. That's one of our games on tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. You don't have to miss a bowl here at the World Indoor Bowls Championships on the portable rink. We have full coverage of every bowl. I like it on these adverts, Sandra, where they always advertise you can take us with you on your laptop, your iPad, your mobile phone. There you go, that's my little bit of a plug for us.
Sure, a lot of people will tune it when they're at work on their mobile phones. A good alteration from Ronnie there.
A little bit of a shoulder there for Mervyn to rest on yet. David's asking him to change hand. So at the moment all 4 hands are playing fairly well. I think at the moment this pairing is just lacking with the finding the weight.
Right. Yeah.
2 green.
Colin's changed his bowls this year. He's now moved to play with Henselite. He used to play with Taylors.
It can make a big difference as well when players change the bowls. There's been a few
Yeah.
this year that have swapped over the last season. A few of the top
Yeah.
16 as well. As you mentioned, Colin has, but Alex and Paul have, and also Mark Dawes got into the top 16 and then's changed his bowls.
Les Gillett, another one, changed, playing with
Yeah,
Aero now.
very true. Again, got into the top 16 and then changed bowls.
So just take the catch off mine, looking good.
As a player, you're a bit reliant on support of your sponsor as well, your bowls provider. It's all various things to take into account. I know I can say that with a smile because I don't need to name them, but we're both sponsored by the same
Yeah,
company,
they
aren't
are.
we, Sandra? And they are very good to us.
Absolutely.
I'm sure we'll have a few players playing out there with Drake's Pride this next couple of weeks. He was very unlucky,
Very unlucky
there, really.
there.
Yeah, he just got the inside edge of it where he wanted the outside edge. A shot dropped at least, I think.
2 shots, Duncan
2.
and Walker.
Another 2. It's going dark out there for the seeded pairing of David Gawley and Mervyn King. They're now 7-0 down after 3 ends of the second set. A set they have got to win. They've got 6 ends left to score 8 shots. But like you were saying before, Sandra, it's quite key that Colin and Ronnie play a lot together.
They know each other's game inside out.
Right, Mervyn. There's a chance here. A couple of foot to draw.
He's been forced to change his hand here with Ronnie's short ball on his backhand.
Struggled again, Mervyn. Both just struggled to find that pace. Great reply, second bowl by Ronnie Duncan there. Can't argue with bowls like that.
No.
Well, Mervyn's got to reach, which can sometimes force you to overreach. Knocks in the area with this though.
Maybe just
Pulling up
dropping
that
just short.
1 green.
As Sandra mentioned before, we've got 4 games for you tomorrow, but then it's the World Bowls Tour annual awards evening here. Glitzy affair. A bit like the World Bowls Tour sports personality of the year. Get your glad rags on and have a party. Then we get back to the serious stuff again on Sunday.
Players are given the Sunday morning off. Play starts at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, they really need to create something here now. Mervyn's asking David to reach up to it. Hard shots to play, these.
Good effort there.
Well, it kind of helps the Kingauley cause, because
Colin's really just got to try and put one a foot behind now.
both these players, as you mentioned, are from the Midlothian club, Sandra.
Yeah, and Dalkeith and Bonnie, Scotland.
Great bowl there from Colin. That looks fair bowling at the moment. Have to play it with a bit more weight, I think. Looks under to me.
Let's dive in. It's the hardest shot to play in this rank, Janice, is the timed shot.
Yeah, I think even when you tell people that, I don't think people understand it really until they've experienced it themselves. It looks the shot to play the timer, but this rink's not forgiving with timers.
No.
Put it a bowl tight and it just goes.
Steady hands of Dan Blewett measuring here.
2 shots, Duncan and Walker.
That means after 4 ends, only Duncan and Colin Walker go 9-0 up against the seeded David Gawley and Mervyn King. Not looking good for the red partnership now.
The rink looks a bit heavy tonight, Janice. It's not like Mervyn to play so many short bowls.
Yeah, players were saying early it felt a bit cool out there today. Yesterday it had been very warm. I was down there myself having just a half hour, and it was very, very hot when you practiced yesterday, but today when you walk out into the auditorium it feels quite cool. Get into the second week, it can get very, very hot out there once the crowds are there. Mervyn really shaking his head, struggling out there. Mervyn's actually the first to take to the rinks in the main singles event out here. He plays Monday morning at 10 o'clock against Stephen Harris from Wales. He would have been hoping to tie a few games together here in the pairs to give him a chance. Looks under again here, Sandra.
Yeah, I think he's short again as well.
Wow.
2 brilliant.
David's got a tough draw himself in the singles. He's got Gary R. Smith. Got one of the tour cards.
Very good player, Gary. He qualifies for a lot of these events.
But I think what we have to remind the viewers here again is how good Colin Walker and Ronnie Duncan are. Not taking anything away from them. Colin got to the quarterfinals of the singles here a couple of years back. He and Ronnie have done very well in the pairs as well. Got to the final, I think, was it 3 years back? 2 years back?
both players are now in the new outdoor elite squad, which of course John Price is now head coach.
Will he need a translator then, sir? Yes, John took over from the job that David Gawley was doing at the Commonwealth Games. David enjoyed his time doing that, but felt after that he wanted to get back to his own bowling, and he put a lot of commitment into that team.
He did, and he's set it up very well for the people that are following him. As David said, I don't think anything would beat the Commonwealth Games in your own city, and doing as well as the Scottish team did. I don't think you can better that.
You know, it's always good to walk out on high, and the celebrations from that. They won the gold in the men's singles, the men's pairs and the men's fours.
Yeah. Very talented squad to play and to choose from. Lots of very good players in Scotland.
He's a really good bowler. Really good bowler.
2 shots for 18.
Keeps them in there. Yeah, I think the way that Scotland have got certainly the outdoor setup set now, it's so many players to choose from.
Change in length here from Mervyn. Mat up the green. And we all know how this can change a game.
Yeah, change to 23 metres. All on your lead now. Mervyn. Not a bad start. See if Ronnie can adjust to this length. Don't forget to stick around after this game, because we've got Les Gillett and Jonathan Ross are playing David Corkill and Chris Eady. More good games for you tonight. And then we start again at 9:30 tomorrow morning with Jason Greenslade and John Price versus the Welsh qualifying pair Mark Harding and Phil Rowland. You all the way through to the finals. Well, close here, Ronnie. Great bowl.
Congratulations.
Touche, and back into Mr. Gawley's hands. He's having a bit of a problem with his microphone there. From a commentator's point of view, it's quite good because you get to actually hear what the players are talking about, what they're thinking of playing shot-wise. If this holds, it's good. It might just be under the weight. That tightens up the line now to get back to that bowl, Sandra.
He's got a choice here. It's just an open draw on the backhand or the forehand.
Well, I think Colin's probably opted for that because as long as he's behind, he knows David's got to change things. Can't afford to drop another count, so...
Ball on to ball here.
That's what he's looking for. Very unlucky. They've got both. But it now leaves quite an open draw for the quality player Colin Walker is.
You'd expect Colin to draw another shot here.
Well, all on his pace. Looks a great line, Sandra.
Yeah.
2 shots, Duncan and Walker.
Well, that means Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker lead 11-2 after 6 ends of this second set, having won the first set 9-6. It's a big ask now, isn't it? 3
Big
ends
ask.
to go.
Yeah.
We've not had a tie break yet here. 3 games in.
Don't think we're going to get one this game, Janice.
Well, miracles can happen. Do they say the impossible can happen, miracles take a bit longer? Great start again here from Ronnie, because all the green partnership of Duncan and Walker are looking to do now is close the game out, match the bowls, just don't drop a silly count.
Second shot does here. Win them the game.
So Duncan and Walker have got to count more than 2 shots. 2 or more would keep them in it, but that's if Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker get the shot or second shot here.
Game over. Better this time, Ronnie.
Yeah, that's in a good place. Really good home, that. Mervyn's got to take into account they've got to pick up a 2 or a 3. Well, he's overplayed this, but I'm sure David will be happier to see that bowl behind. So very unusual for Mervyn to struggle with weight like he has done this evening.
I think Colin just now has to split these 2 bowls.
I think Colin Walker's microphone has stopped working. Notice Mike Davies having a look at it. Why we're not getting anything back from there. I just think it's a fault on that microphone. It looks good here, Sandra. Past that first
Very
red
good
bowl, it's
ball.
okay.
Slight chance of chap and lie here for 3, Janice.
Yeah, like I say, with Mervyn putting that bowl behind. Now that was unlucky.
Okay, yep.
Luck's got to be a little bit on your side with these sets games. David just having a glance there at the score. I think he knows the situation. At the moment he's holding 1. Draw for 2, Sandra.
Give them another end.
If he misses with this bowl, game over.
Two shots,
Two
all
does.
in.
He doesn't miss, so they get the 2 shots they need to hang in there. So Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker now lead 11-4. 2 ends to play.
2 fours required.
Well, I was saying earlier, you don't often see a 4 at this level. We had a 4 in the first set. When David Gawley and Mervyn King were in charge of the first set, really, it's 6-4 and dropped to 4. how the game's changed since then.
Yeah, Ronnie came on to a better game leading. Put a bit of a pressure on Merv.
Can it slip past that? No, there's no need to panic at the moment for Ronnie. Just really needs to try and get a second bowl in.
Balls don't appear to be coming back a lot tonight, Janice. There's usually a big swing on that side.
I noticed earlier that even this afternoon's games, they seem to hang off a bit. Perhaps because it's that bit cooler in there. That's not a bad bowl from Ronnie at all. Splits those two reds.
David just needs to play the backhand here, I think, and chap and lie that ball, give it a few turns to lie 3.
He's got a smile on his face anyway. Well, he's got a good track for it.
It
Well,
won't
it's
bend with
swinging
that
off.
weight though.
No, it's just hanging off, you're correct. Garland just looking to close this end down. If he gets another in there, makes David's job really hard. Slip past his own. Yeah, that does the job. Well, could even be a hit and home here for David. Draw it either. Shaking hands. Game over. Thanks very much for your company, Sandra, this afternoon.
Janice.
Well done to Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker, who step into the next round where they face Robert Paxton and Simon Skelton, defending champions. Join us after the break for Jonathan Ross, Les Gillett versus David Corkill and Chris Eagle.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Give both our teams a nice round of applause. Well done. A bit of a shock result though. That's bowls for you, I guess. So there we are. But well done to the qualifiers there. Okay, next match coming up very, very shortly. Our final match of this evening in the International Arena. Are you having a little rest? Do you wondering who's playing? I haven't got a clue. Do you want to tell you? Yeah, it's some bowlers. Yes, yeah. No, we've got David Corkill, you know, the BBC commentator. Yeah, he's going to be playing with Chris, Edie, and then we've got Les Gillett and Jonathan Ross. Yeah, coming up. That's the next match. Yeah. Shall I give you a song? Shall I sing you a song? Huh? I am a singist. I think we should. I haven't decided which one though. We've got time, we've got the trial-ins to do, yeah? So you don't fancy watching any of them then, girls? No? Alright then. They don't want to watch, right, okay. No, we don't want to watch them, no. Oh yeah, so now I'm going to sing you a song. It's that evening, isn't it, really? And I like this song because I don't want to bring anything down, but my father passed away on Boxing Day. Not this year, but a few years ago. And we were cleaning out his stuff, and he made a recording of a playlist, but he talked over it, if you know what I mean, in between each song, and we didn't know this. My mum did, but we didn't know this. But apparently, the song I'm going to sing you was a song that he dedicated to my mother. So when we didn't find this till after he passed away. So it's kind of quite, because they met in the month of September, you see, and the song's called September Morn, so you probably might know it. It's a Neil Diamond song, funny enough. So, Alex, I don't know if you've got it there queued ready, and we'll do this. That's lovely, it sounds great. Here we go. Stay for just a while. Stay and let me look at you. It's been so long I hardly knew ya. Standing in the door. Stay with me for just a while. I only want to sing for you. We've traveled halfway around the world to find ourselves again. September morn, we danced until the night became a brand new day. Two lovers playing scenes from some romantic play. September morning still can make me feel that way. Look at what you've done. You've become a grown-up girl. I can still hear you crying in the corner of your room. Look how far we've come, so far from where we used to be, but not so far that we've forgotten how it was before. September morn, we danced until the night became a brand new day. Two lovers playing scenes from some romantic play. September morning still can make me feel that way. Bit of French now. Vida. Me and you. I can still remember it all. September morn, we danced until the night became a brand new day. Two lovers playing scenes from some romantic play. September morning make me feel that way. September morn, we danced that night away, yeah. Two lovers playing scenes from some romantic play. September morning still can make me feel that way. September morning still can make me feel that way. September morning still can make me feel that way. There you go, a little bit of Neil Diamond. There we are. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. There we are. Got me a bit Neil Diamond, can you really? Right, okay. And Sheila's here. Hello, Sheila, darling. How are you? Oh, she's a little sweetie, she is. She was here a few weeks ago. She comes every single year for the World Indoor Bowls Championships. And you're here for the whole 3 weeks, are you? Huh? Yeah, yes, I know you do, Gert. There we are. And you know the sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Where's, so no, it's lovely having you here. You're always here, aren't you? And you, Sheila, for the whole 3 weeks? Yeah. Yeah. Are you happy about it? Yeah. Can you tell your faces then? I've been known them for decades. No, I was going to say, but longer than I care to remember anyway. I mean, I'm only 24. What? What? Are you cold? Is it cold in here? Is it cold? Is it a bit chilly? Is it? I'm sweating. Can you turn the heating down? It's very hot in here. Can you just, because I'm just like, no. Is it cold in here? It's a bit. They say it's going to get colder, don't they? Yes. Do they? Yes, they do. And no, they say it's going to be like, in some parts of the country, between -5 and -10 next week. I think that's up in Scotland though, so we're okay here on the East Coast. But I think it's going to turn a bit, because it's been quite mild, isn't it? It's been, what, 9.5, 10 degrees average temperature? Well, as here, I don't know what it's been like wherever you're from. Are you alright? Have you come on by your own? Have you come by yourself? Oh, the wife's gone the bingo. Where about? But I hope not, because I'm bloody calling it. I am. I'm calling bingo. I know. I'm jack of all trades, me. I'm everywhere. So, yeah, well, I'll be there in 15 minutes anyway. It doesn't start for another 15 minutes. Where are you from? Oh, you're Norfolk. He's from Norfolk. I thought you had a bit of Norfolk twang. She got bingo. That's how we talk, and you go up at the end of sentences, don't you? People from Norfolk and Suffolk, they do. No, they do. They say, I know this because my father's auntie, her name's Aunt Florence, but I could never say Florence when I was little, so her name's Aunt Fufu. Because I couldn't say Florence, and she lived in Kent Road in Lowestoft, and whenever we used to go visit her, she used to say, "Are you right, David?" Because that was my dad's name, David. "Would you like your cup of tea?" She used to go always up at the end of sentences. I'll just get the leg over. Always up at the end of sentences. She did. Did you? Yes, she did. Right. Are you texting? Should you be filming something or something? No. Oh look, coming soon. All right, yeah, coming in. Yeah, it's coming when he gets off his mobile phone. No, they're on now. They're on. That's you now. We're live. The coming soon's not coming soon. The coming soon's now. Sorry about that. In YouTube land, the cameraman was just on his mobile. Just grasped up the cameraman. You're live here at Potter's Leisure Resort here at Hopton-on-Sea for the World Indoor Bowls Championships. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, time to introduce the players now. First of all, to a young man who's recently become a father, bless him. That's Chris Eady, and he's accompanied by the chairman of the PBA and the voice of BBC Bowls, Mr. David Corkill. Good luck, gents. There we are. And next to a partnership who, with their pedigree, should be a match for any other opponents on the circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Les Gillett and Jonathan Ross. Enjoy the match, everybody, and good luck to both our players there. And over now to your commentator, Janice Gower.
Well, thanks very much, Richie. Richard Baird there doing all the introductions for us. And we've got a very interesting game tonight. We've got the overseas pairs qualifiers, which are David Corkill and Chris Eady from Belfast, playing against a new partnership of Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett. I'm delighted to be joined in the commentary box by world number one, Nick Brett. Welcome to commentary, Nick.
Yeah, thanks very much, Janice. Yeah, good to be here.
Jack over 28 metres.
Yeah, of course, John Ross did quite well last year playing with Wayne Hogg. Now, Wayne Hogg's now dropped out of the top 16 and Les Gillett's come into it. So another new partnership. I think Jonathan Ross skipped that last year, if memory serves me right.
Yeah, I think you're right, but they've obviously had a chat and Les has taken the reins.
Les, one of our characters of the game and in the top 16. Now, a bit of a interesting situation for David Corkill and Chris Eady. They played the last of their round-robin group stages this morning in the Bowler's Bar here at Potter's Resort, and came in here to play the playoff, and now this is their third game of the day. But of course, Mr. Corkill's a spring chicken, isn't he?
I think he'll be feeling his hamstrings tomorrow morning.
Well, if they win tonight, at least we do have a little bit of a break. They play tomorrow afternoon, so
I think they might benefit from the game this afternoon on the carpet, whereas Jonathan and Les have not had any green time.
we were just talking before we went live on air about the game prior to this. If you did watch any of that, is a couple of players struggled with the pace out there, and the pace does change a lot, doesn't it, Nick, on this portable rink?
It certainly does, and then the amount of people in and watching during game time is obviously different to practice. So you're catching it well in practice doesn't always mean you will during the game.
Yeah, in practice you're not under any pressure either, you're just sending bowls and you get a few spectators in.
Yeah, pressure of the game itself plus scoreboard pressure.
I think we saw a little bit of that happening the last game where Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker took a 9-0 lead in the second set, and then you're chasing scores, and that can be the worst situation of all in singles or pairs.
Yeah, definitely not easy chasing each end, let alone the board as well.
You don't start your campaign until Sunday afternoon, so you've got a little bit of time to relax.
Yeah, obviously we've got the awards Saturdays, so we can ease ourselves into them and get enough practice to feel comfortable which sets we're gonna play with.
Feedback again there from the mics. Day one, we often find it just settling down sometimes with some of the equipment, and we have a new set out there, new World Bowls Tour set, the World Indoor Bowls Championship here, kindly sponsored by Just Retirement. And of course you're playing with Certainly the man in form on the World Bowls Tour at the moment. Greg Harlow won the Scottish International Open, and you're the world number 1. I wonder what the bookies think about that.
Yeah, long may Greg's good form continue. Hopefully I can put a few around, and if we do get in any trouble, he can play one of them magical 4-round runners.
Of course, you're due to play the winner of the game tomorrow, which will be very, very interesting because it's Darren Burnett and Stuart Anderson versus Louis Rideout and Sam Tolchard, the English qualifiers, who played exceptionally well this afternoon. I asked Louis Rideout afterwards what he'd had for lunch, because I think we need some of that all round.
Yeah, certainly played very, very well, the English boys. But Darren and Stuart are a world-class pair as well, so that can go either way. Certainly set up to be a belter, really.
Yeah, really interesting game there. I noticed Mr. Corkill was just covering his microphone there. Don't be a bad sport, David. Let's hear what you're saying. Let's hear what you're chuntering about.
I think he coughed and made a racket, I think.
Oh, we've had various with these microphones. Vast majority of players, I don't think it affects your game. If you're used to playing with a microphone on, Nick, you feel fairly comfortable with that?
Oh yeah, I think it becomes second nature in the end. You just got to be careful when you play a bad one and you're not too pleased about it.
Colin Walker said to me before he went on for his last game, he said, if I swear, can you bleep me out? I said, nope. But it is good for the spectators at home. We were saying in the game before, when Sandra McLeish was in with me, we were sort of saying it's nice for somebody at home to sit and decide what shot they might play, and then listening to the likes of yourselves, how you talk through a shot, they get the understanding of why you're playing a shot.
Yeah, because you can sometimes play the wrong shot purely because it's a difference of an opinion. It might be the wrong shot to play, but you might not feel you could get the right one. So
yeah, a game's all about confidence as well, isn't it? If you're confident on playing a shot, I often think if your skip says to you, I really like the look of this shot, unless it's going to do something really stupid, you let them play the shot they're confident in playing.
yeah, and some hands you just don't feel you've got the better of it, so you try and manufacture a shot down the other side.
Well, there's one of the most flamboyant players and one of only 2 left-handers in the top 16.
Yeah, I played against Les quite a bit this year in open events and other singles events, and he's played some really good stuff.
He is playing a lot at the moment, isn't he? He's playing a lot of the open singles events that are about. But again, looking at this end, Nick, there's 3 short red bowls there.
Yeah, probably put the kiss of death on him there, but it's still early doors. Everybody's just scratching for the perfect pace, really.
Jonathan encouraging this to run. 3 Scottish by birth players in the last game. We've got 3 Irish by birth players here. We've put Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett up as GBR because Jonathan Ross was born in Ireland, but he now represents Scotland. And Les Gillett is English and represents England. Of course, David Corkill and Chris Eady are the Irish qualifiers. David Corkill's a chairman of the PBA, loves his bowls, still puts himself out there to qualify. And here he is again on the portable rink. hand. Could be a decent count here.
My edge just moves it to it.
Well, Francis Fletcher being called on here. He's the umpire for this game, being called on to tell us which shot's next. The marker for this game is Dan Blewett. Really strong umpiring marking team we have at the WBT. There to control things on the rink.
Looks like 4, Janice, I think.
Well, I think I might have cursed this because in the game before I said you don't often see a 4 at this level. And of course, we had a 4 in that game and we've had a 4 in this game. It's this commentator's thing that they say about, isn't it?
It certainly is.
But then, like you mentioned, David Corkill and Chris Eady have had a game out there on that surface. Now, if fatigue starts setting in, that could be different, but early on, make the most of the fact that you're the ones that have got the pace of the rink in your arm.
It will certainly make a difference at the start of the game, and depends on the end of the first set and what the scoreboard pressure is.
I mean, Chris is opting for the long lengths again, which he did in the game this afternoon. We believe he swapped bowls though. He played with Classic 2s this afternoon. And David Corkill was playing with his Drake's Pride Professionals, and we're firmly believing at the moment that Chris Eady's gone out with the Drake's Pride Professionals, the other 2 of David's set.
They certainly look like the same bowl. It's not easy to spot the emblem.
Well, I know when they finished the game this afternoon, Chris stayed on and had a few ends playing with David's bowls. Of course, as Sandra mentioned earlier, Les Gillett's one of the players that's come into the top 16 and actually swapped his bowls.
Yeah, certainly not an easy thing to do. You've worked your way back in, playing with one set, but there's another way of looking at it. Good players should be able to play with whatever they got in their hand.
But both of the players that have got into the top 16 this year, both Les Gillett and Mark Dawes, have swapped bowls.
Yeah, they certainly have, but they've taken advantage of the good fortune they've got.
I was saying before, it's often for the players as well. It's the support of your manufacturer that helps you as well, because if bowls change, they're there to support you. They want to see the top players performing well with their bowls.
Definitely, you know, without the help of the manufacturers, it would be costly for the players to have about, you know, half a dozen sets each, just to swap and change whenever they felt like it.
Les Gillett's playing with arrows now, and just to complete that list for you, Jonathan Ross plays with, I think he's playing with Taylor Ace. He normally plays with Taylor Ace. But yes, you tend to take a couple of sets to an event and see what the surface is playing like before you decide what you're doing, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. You know, at each venue it can vary in pace a little bit, and you know, it can in line, and some people just play with the same bowl no matter what. Me, I like a particular line and different bowl, different strength of bias bowl, give me that on each individual surface. So
that was the classic case in point with these microphones. You heard what the discussion was there. David asked Chris what he felt was better for him to do. From the mat, it probably looked like a draw on either hand. Chris opted for him playing the forehand, and he's just dropped short.
I think so, yeah. You can go on.
And that seems to be the thing of these early rounds, players struggling for the pace.
Yeah, it's probably just a yard slower than the last event, and you probably see a few first round or early round games. If players miss, probably miss short.
Yeah, you're just trying to play that neat bowl. Sometimes you just don't reach up quite as you hope you have done.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking for perfection.
They expect it of you top stars, you see, the perfection.
Doesn't happen often enough for me.
Well, the umpire's just asking to remove all the bowls that are not being looked at here. One green has been removed, so we're measuring for second. Francis just going back to the first bowl he measured to check.
2 shots coming in.
Yep, 2 to green. That means David Corkill and Chris Eady take a 6-1 lead. After 3 ends of this first set, we play 2 sets of 9 ends and a 3-end tie-break if necessary here at all the World Bowls Tour ranking events. This is the only event we play a pairs tournament. It's open pairs, as we saw earlier today. Marianne Beef and the ladies from the USA had qualified. They all have a go at it. If you're a member of the PBA, it's open for you to put your money up and come to the qualifiers, have a go. If you, like Chris Eady and David Corkill, win a qualifier, you two could be out there here on the portable rink. And that's where it all started for you, Nick. You're one of the players that fought your way through the qualifiers and proved that it's possible to do to get into that top ranking.
Yeah, definitely. I had a number of years trying to break in. Probably spent quite a few on the fringes. Just lucky enough to break in maybe 4 or 5 seasons ago, and you know, sort of done okay. Held my own against, you know, the best in the world on this surface. So it's definitely the place to be, playing in front of decent crowds on the TV against arguably the best in the world on the indoor circuit.
Certainly the very appreciative crowds here at Potters. They love the bowls, they come back year and year. They book before they leave this time to come again next time.
Yeah, definitely they've got a captive audience here at Potters. Most of the games are pretty full up once they get going into the tournament.
It's a great place to mingle with the players as well. You're often involved in Bucks Fizz receptions and question and answer sessions, and they're about in the bars.
Yeah, the great thing about Potters, we're all staying on site, so everybody's just all around all the time.
And we're getting overfed. Too many desserts, I think, Nick.
Yeah, I'm packing on the pounds myself.
You've not got the same problem as I have. You're all right. You can probably eat anything. I know you sort. I've got to try and put my whites on next Friday. No, they do look after us very, very well here at Potters. The food's very good. The entertainment's excellent. And the entertainment out here on the rink is world class, without a doubt. Well, David, certainly in the driving seat here, that's a bit of a loose one. He's having a bit of a stretch there, Nick. I wonder if he is struggling a bit with the hamstring.
Third game of the day, he'll certainly be feeling a little bit.
I'll just put it like this: he's not one of the younger players on the circuit, David. He's past 29 now, and I think we all feel it a bit as we get older.
Yeah, it's probably not the most physical of sports in the world, but bending down and crouching and holding your posture when it can tense your muscles or calf muscles more than you think.
Mentally draining as well, Nick, especially if you've played 3 games, you're wanting to keep going, and you don't want to let your partner down either. You want to still be.
Yeah, concentration factor uses a lot of, as you say, mental energy. I don't think you need to be Usain Bolt, probably, but
It would be quite interesting to see how he would cope with the shot clock.
I think it could worry him going up and down the rink.
For those of you that probably have already noticed, we don't play under the shot clock for the pairs. Players have all the time that they want to deliver a bowl, really. That 2 shots gives them a 8-1 lead. The Irish duo of David Corkill and Chris Eady after 4 ends. Yeah, just going to the shot clock. We play the shot clock under the main singles when they get into the main part of the singles draw. Our players have only got so long to deliver their bowls in between the bowl coming to rest. Whereas in the pairs it's a little bit more relaxed, Nick, a bit more time.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the swap over in the middle, shouldn't take too much discussion in 2 bowl pairs, really. I know it's the same amount of bowls in the singles, but generally not too much attacking going on.
Good ball here from Jonathan.
Yep, just draw away at 6 inches for the jack now.
Mentioned when they played earlier, Chris Seedy's newly father. His lovely wife, Cleaner, had a baby just before Christmas. Cleaner's one of the ladies that's joining us for the Ladies Will Match Play and Mixed Pairs Will Match Play, the middle weekend. And I'm sure she's sat at home now, watching YouTube in Belfast, shouting at the television at her husband.
They've certainly started very well in the first set. Very nice 8-1 cushion.
Yeah, they just don't want a silly end now. That's the thing. Often when you go a bit in front, if you just relax too much, you drop a 3 or a couple of 3s and the player can soon be back in this.
Yeah, Jonathan played a decent first one. Yeah.
Looks down a good line. What's the pace like of this? Just going to finish short, I think. that was a case in point there. There was the shot for a runner, but I think David was just saying, are we as well to stick to just the draw?
Yeah, they're only one down, and for Les to get another, he's got to get inside a foot, and that's not a given at the moment.
Well, he's got to get past his own bowl now, which has obviously widened the head a little bit to get round. He looks on a good line. I think he might have just overplayed it.
Yeah, he would have wanted to have sneaked one in there. He'd be a little bit disappointed to miss with both. His weight was good with the first one, but just crashed in.
A bit of a discussion there on what length to play, especially with a new pair in, possibly not overly aware of what each other would prefer, and I think a little bit of a discussion was necessary there.
Yeah, at 8-2, they're certainly looking to change something.
Has that made a length? Looks to...
24.5 metres.
There you go, 24.5 metres, fairly short. Well, Les and John have probably been aware that the vast majority of the games today, David Corkill and Chris Eady have tried to stick to a full length.
Yeah, another good start from John.
Well, of course it's possible, they've still got 4 ends left to play. Pick up another couple of twos. As we mentioned before, it can soon put the pressure back on a player.
Yeah, it takes one end really, if they did happen to get a 3.
Yeah, 3 would get them back into the game really strongly in this first set, which is what we saw happen in the last game. The players in control dropped to 4. All of a sudden the set went away from them. Don't forget, if you have to leave us tonight, we've got live bowls again for you tomorrow morning. We start at 9:30 with Jason Greenslade and John Price playing against the Welsh qualifiers Mark Harding and Phil Rowland, a whole Welsh game there. And then we follow that with Darren Burnett and Stuart Anderson versus Louis Rideow and Sam Tolchard. And then we've got Robert Paxton and Simon Skelton, defending champions here, playing against Ronnie Duncan and Colin Walker. That starts at 2 o'clock tomorrow, followed by Paul Foster MBE and Alex Marshall MBE, who play the winners of this game this evening. And then we have the annual WBT Awards evening. Bit of a glitzy, put your posh frock on, Nick, right?
Yeah, exactly. What hair I've got left, try and get it looking as good as I can.
Yeah, a bit like a Sports Personality of the Year for the WBT, that, various different awards. Such things as Player of the Year. We normally have a Lifetime Achievement Hall of Fame, various different awards that go out that are voted on. It's quite a nice night, everybody comes together, all the sponsors, all the manufacturers, and everybody here that's here supporting at Potters are invited along. And we have a good old celebration of the year. and then everybody gets a little bit of a lie-in on Sunday morning before we have 2 games Sunday afternoon, of which Nick's part of the second game with his partner Greg Harlow.
Yeah, looking forward to it, you know. Sort of like half the tournament gone before we get going.
Yeah, David choosing to actually come and have a look at this head. As we mentioned before, they don't really want to drop a 3 and currently lying a 3 against. What does he play here?
They're 3 pretty close together. Would suggest that any sort of pace with the 3 best backs as well, at the very least it would cut down.
Yeah, like you say, even 1 away, 2 away would help the Irish cause.
Be interesting to see what he would say if he was sitting up here.
Well, he's just said about playing down and not trying to take his own bowl out. It's like you say, you know, when you're out there, oh, he is playing that shot. Tough shot to play. Oh, he just missed it.
Just a bowl high, really. I think that was the right shot.
It's the right shot and the right pace, really, because I was saying earlier, for the viewers at home, Nick, a 2-yard on shot is not easy to play on this portable rink.
No, just over the pace. If you're bowl high, bowl tight, it punishing, very punishing. He definitely played the right way. Just picked the bowl high line. If he'd have been a bowl tighter, the jack, he gets the red.
Yeah, he gets the perfect result, at least 1 or 2 away. Yeah, that's 3 shots. Well, that's interesting. From being 8-1 up, David Corkill and Chris Eady have now been clawed back to only 8-5 up. So they're 3 up with 3 ends to play. And as Mr. Corkill would say himself, the 7th end of a 9-end set is often the crucial end.
And you can bet your bottom dollar there'll be a short jack again.
Yeah, Les was standing quite way up the rink there to short jack.
24.5 metres.
24.5. Now, can you put a good lead up like you did at the last end, John?
It certainly made a difference. Chris controlled the first, 3 of the first 4. Jonathan has had the last couple.
Just played a fairly loose opener there, Nick.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. Chris will be looking to make sure he gets a good one.
This looks a bit wide. Not easy if Chris has just gone out with balls that he's not used to playing with. And as we mentioned before, the portable rinks are a different character to any rink you'll play at home. Good ball here from John Ross. David's body language is very good here for his young partner, trying not to stress him.
I think he's just informed of the rules.
Definitely smiling as he's walking to the mat. And weirdly enough, the man on the rinks the only umpire I've ever seen refuse to let a player go up to the head when he's asked after 2 bowls, because he felt that the head hadn't changed sufficiently when that player had only just left the head. We weren't under shot clock rules at that time.
Fair enough.
Dan had just got into the World Bowls Tour umpiring squad, and I think everybody, when they saw that back, even the player, thought it was justified.
If the rules are there and you justify the rules, that's it.
Well, this player in particular, he'd gone up to the head after 2 bowls with his opponent. He'd walked back to the mat, his opponent had played his next bowl, and then he'd asked to go back up to the head again, and nothing had actually changed. So sometimes these rules work in your favour. It was an awful long game, was that. It was one of the longest games I've ever witnessed in the World Bowls Tour, and since then shot clocks have been brought in at all the events.
Yeah, the shot clocks are good at points, bad at points. If you get yourself in a muddle and don't think quickly, you can get rushed. So you've got to work out a plan of action, what you're going to do. There's enough timeouts as long as you manage them correctly, but I think you've got to take advantage of your opponent's green time if you want to look at the head.
Yes, because with the shot clock there's no stopping you following every bowl up as long as you're at the head before it stops, and as long as you're back down in time to play your own bowl. I think that's the advantage of for the players that are used to playing under shot clock. Well, how big a count is this? This short jack is costing the Irish pair dearly.
Certainly make it a very tight last couple of ends.
That close up, I think, proves to us that it's definitely the same set of bowls that the 2 Irish players are playing with.
Yeah, Chris definitely opting for a change in between games.
That was a count of 2 there. That's brought them back within 2 with 2 ends to play. So the current score is David Corkill and Chris Eady 8.
Yeah, it was strong.
My mathematics failing here, Nick. And Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett with that 2 score goes to 7. So there's only 1 in it with 2 ends to play. Again, 24-metre jack.
Good jack casting by Jono, to be fair. Certainly more consistent than what I give my partner.
Yeah, we've seen a couple sent off earlier today as well.
Can't get them off the end, I can't get them that far, but
it is a definite art to send in a jack, and in practice here we don't really get the chance to send jacks, especially if 4 of you go out there together. You're tending to play to a set jack, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. You get a chance to practice your bowls, but practice this is a bit frantic, to be fair. And it will be even worse now. The events have actually started, because we'll be practicing early morning, late at night, hour in between games. So
Yeah, the only place for the players to practice is actually on the portable rink. So of course, while this game's going on, nobody can go on there to practice. People have booked practice for straight after it, and they can go on for about 2-3 hours after the game tonight. And then there's first thing in the morning. We start at 9:30 in the morning. So if you want to practice in the morning, you're probably talking 6-7 o'clock.
yeah, and I'm not too keen on the early bird shift, to be honest.
And then again, as you mentioned before, Nick, that affects the pace of the rink as well, when all the spectators go out and the door's been opened and shut a few times and gets a bit of cool air in there.
Yeah, it definitely is a touch different pace during game time and practice time. And I don't think I've seen anybody practice jack casting during practice. It may have been done, but I may not have seen it.
This is last ball, Chris.
There you go, good discussion between the two players there about choice of shot. David looking to draw to this back red bowl. Disappointed in that. Again, there's 2, possibly 3 shots against them here, the Irish pairing. Change of length, huge difference in this game so far.
Two shots won't necessarily be disastrous, but 3 makes a difference.
Well, 2 shots would take Les Gillett and Jonathan Ross 1 up playing the last. At 3, 2 up, it means you have to score a 2 or a 3 to win or tie the set. Les will be looking for a similar bowl to his last, I would think. Doesn't want to broaden the target anymore. He might have just overplayed this.
Interesting to see whether Corky takes a risk or just tries to either lift his own green or just try and draw the shot, because he certainly won't want to, on the forehand, lift Jono's bowl once.
Well, a lot of discussion there between the two players. I'd like to favour that he'll be reaching into this, Nick, try and change something. Just opted for the draw, I think. Well, that green bowls looks right in the line for the draw to me.
It was a good effort, to be fair, but had he had a foot less pace, he probably would have run into the front green.
2 shots, Ross and Gillett.
So that gives Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett a 9-8 lead going into the last end of this first set. Remember, David Corkle and Chris Eady were 8-1 up. They now trail 9-8, I would think we might see a 24-metre jack somehow.
Probably a good bet.
And if it isn't 24 metres, I think Jonathan might have missed where he was supposed to be putting the jack, because that's exactly where Les is looking for it.
Good again from Jono.
I shall be watching the jack casting on Sunday afternoon very closely.
As long as I'm casting the jack, we might be
You're
doing
happy.
alright.
I realised that as soon as I said it. I thought, yes, that's... I could say the same about next Friday, but that's quite a bit off yet. A variety of different events here at the World Indoor Bowls Championships. We've got the open pairs here, the open singles, and then you have the ladies world match play and the mixed world match play. And also we have a new junior event, semi-finals and final of which are played here in the final weekend. So a real fest of bowls here. John just looking to reach into that, just underplayed it.
David will be looking for Chris just to get another one pretty close and then either lift the jack or lift the red bowl away.
I think he's just overplayed that a bit. Nick, I'm not sure that was exactly what was intended, but it's not wasted if it's at the back.
No, it's certainly not in a poor area. Obviously, Les to go, he'll be looking to split the two reds for a start. Two greens, sorry. Colourblind all of a sudden.
Yeah, Jonathan Ross just pointing to Les to get inside that green bowl that's in the centre bottom of your screen as you see it. If you can get between the two greens. The holding shot and the one up. This looks quite wide.
Yeah, he's probably...
It's one of those times where you think I've called a shot and I've seen a shot and the player's played something different.
Yeah, it's two different ways. He's probably forced David in to play the harder of the two shots.
Well, this is close. Well. Now, has he just been unlucky and the ball just sat out?
I don't know, it's close now.
Unfortunately, from our angle here, we can't actually tell. You can probably hear a little bit what the players are saying. And we'll tell from this bowl of Les's certainly.
Yeah, I thought he'd just be drawing. He doesn't want to gift the set away. Even if he's one down, he's still got a sniff of...
Well, the call from the ground is that it's 1 to red. I don't think there's any need for David to change a great deal, because if he rests off his own he gets shot. If he gets the red bowl and sits back, he gets shot.
If he bowls the back toucher and sits forward,
You get 2. Good call. Well, he's wider line than he was with his first. He's just gone for the draw.
Is he all
He's
the way?
urging this up. Is he there?
Does he fancy he's won?
Yeah, there you go. I couldn't quite tell from our commentary position. It was 1 to David Corkill and Chris Eady. So therefore that set is tied. Our first tied set of this championship at 9-all. Makes it interesting going into the second set now.
Yeah, I don't know who'd be more the happier with a draw, to be honest.
Well, the thing was that Chris and David were so far ahead. And then to see that lead slip away, probably be happy that they scrambled the draw.
Yeah, certainly. John and Les will exactly know where they want the jack now, and if they start this set the way they finished the first, they'll certainly be putting Chris and David under the pump, really.
And the only way we can go into a tie break now is if this set's tied as well. It has happened. Doesn't happen that often, so whoever wins this set wins the game. Oh, Chris. Settling down a bit to this length now.
I think I say this every time I'm on commentary, but first bowl is huge, certainly on this carpet, or the portable rink, if you like.
And in this format as well, the 2-bowl pairs, there's a lead you don't really want to be putting your skip under an awful lot of pressure. And first bowl, like you say, is key. Oh, 2 good bowls there from Chris Eady. The pace of the rink might change a little now, Nick. I've just had a glance what time we are, and shows start at Potters about this time. And 1 or 2 of the crowd are off to see the show.
Yeah, a few did leave after the end of the first set.
Oh, great ball
Great
from
ball.
Les. Action replay of it here. The perfect draw.
Yeah, Chris played 2 great bowls, but they sat nice. Always had a little stop on either bowl.
There's a little bit of a ledge to play at.
Yeah.
David's got a similar sort of bowl to the bowl that Les has just played now, down the backhand just to trail the jack back to Chris's bowls. Looks under the line to me.
Might get a straightener. Ooh.
Don't forget we've got a Twitter feed now for the World Bowls Tour. We're on Facebook, and we have the YouTube streaming live and in full HD. So if you do have any questions, just bob them to us in one of those formats. Certainly any questions for the umpires. Dan Blewett and Francis Fletcher will be joining me at some point in time over the next few days in commentary. And they've said if we've got any questions, we're quite happy to answer your questions. And if you've got any questions for the World Bowls Tour itself, We'll get those answered for you by Richard Maddison, the CEO. And any questions for the players, if the players are about, we'll see what we can do. Les taking on a bit of water there. Although we're saying it's a little bit cooler out there than normal, you don't want to get dehydrated under these strong lights.
Yeah, it's warmer out there than you think, to be honest.
Certainly on the rink, it's a bit of a cauldron down there. It's an amazing venue to play at, amazing stadium. All of the World Bowls Tour events are played at different venues. It's just on the wide side, very close there.
Over the last couple of years, the new lights sort of cooled it down a touch. When the halogen lights were here, they were suntan job. They were.
Yeah, we noticed a lot of people, and we'll do in the second week as well, wear visors if they're sat in the crowd on the first 2 rows. But certainly, like you say, since the new lights have come out, it's a lot better than the really big, huge spotlights before. And it was like you say, being on a sun lounger.
24 metres.
Again, 24 metres. I think we need to have some lessons off Jonathan Ross how to set a jack.
Yeah, he's certainly going. He's setting the benchmark very high for the rest of us for getting the jack in the right place. I hope my partner's not watching.
I take it from that you will be leading.
Oh yeah.
Oh, great reply there from Chris. Certainly don't want to get away from the score here. They want to tighten it up. Jonathan Ross looks on a good line again. One of the few players in the top 16 never to have actually outright won an event on the World Bowls Tour. Always manages to scrape 2 or 3 games together. We've just had a good question in here from one of the viewers, Nick, for you. Because Jonathan Ross seems to be doing so well with this 24-metre jack. Do you think he'll try and go for that when he plays in the singles?
He's certainly going for it very well in the pairs, and if he didn't have a game plan, he certainly found one. So if I was him, it would be a shoe-in for a start, yeah.
Well, he's certainly found his line here, hasn't he, on this shorter jack.
He sure has. Yeah, I think he's only missed one of the last 6 ends, so that's as consistent as you'd want to be.
And Jonathan plays his first round of his singles next Thursday against Ryan Clark, who's from Scotland. So we will find out next Thursday the answer to the question, if he does.
I might even have a look myself, see if I can catch the answer.
So all the games are streamed for you here live right through to the finals. You can pick it up on the World Bowls Tour YouTube streaming. We also have BBC coverage in the second week here, but even then you'll be able to pick up the coverage on this World Bowls Tour streaming. Well, they certainly found that length of jack and settled down to it of the Irish duo. I have a feeling we might go back to full length here, Nick.
Correct. Unless he catches the carpet on delivery.
Jack playing 28 metres.
Yeah, 28 metres, just a metre short of full length. 29 here, dot to dot, or tee to tee. Chris and David will both be used to playing on a blue carpet because Belfast Indoor Bowls Club is now a blue surface. So that can sometimes throw new players to the blue carpet. Still the vast majority of club greens are green, I think, Nick, in general.
Yeah, I don't know too many others that are blue. Blackpool, obviously, but 99% of the others will all be green.
Still green. Yeah, Carlisle had part of its rinks blue until it was sadly flooded before Christmas.
Stay on the height, though. Stay on the height. Hold on. Very good.
Stand your last balls. Good ball for Freddie.
Just indicated there that it's still one green. These two guys must be getting tired now from their early start this morning. Oh, there's somebody else getting tired out there. What timing was that?
It's been a long day for everybody. Still plenty of room for either player to get one real good one in him.
Well, this looks on a decent track. Yeah, good ball from David there. Still room for Les. Either hand, really. It's a nice shoulder down this backhand, which is Les's forehand. So there's not many left-handers in the top flights, but we've got Les Gillett and Mark Royal. Great ball from Les there.
Yep, left him enough room and he duly delivered.
Well, David has got the forehand touch onto the bowl, or ideally the jack. Took it round. Just short. That was
Yeah, he won't be overly pleased with that, especially when he's down. He had a couple he could just get a squeeze on.
yeah, he's just gone off to the side of the rink. Sometimes we say go and have a word with yourself in the office, just calm yourself down. But I don't know what Mr. Corkill will be saying to himself.
Yeah, I'd need a big office.
Well, he's here again. Could have made two with that.
Yeah, a couple of good bowls from Les.
Well, looks like we're in for another tight set here. Could be the battle of the lengths here again. Another little discussion there between Jonathan and Les as to what length of jack to play. Well, Les is walking further up to the... Are they going to go short the other way? Mat up and jack to the tee.
Surprised me,
Yeah,
to be honest.
they only lost one end on the shorter jack the other way. I thought they might have stuck to that a bit longer.
I think he's a touch longer, but
25.5 metres.
Long, it's jack high for you.
I think Chris has just underplayed this.
Okay, next time.
yeah, not quite got into it. But
Come on, Johnny. Get up. Get up, man. And again, John. Play the same. Well done.
Hey, Yard, carry you through it.
Still a bit of room there. There's still that wing bowl to just get inside. It's always easier said than done. Easy when you sat here.
yeah, I haven't missed any tonight, but when it's my turn, I'm feeling I might miss a few.
Well, come to a good home. That's fine there.
Oh, you don't miss that many from what I've commentated on and watched in the past. One of the best games of bowls I've certainly seen this year, and certainly had the pleasure of commentating on, was your game in Scotland against Stuart Anderson. It was punch for punch, blow for blow.
Yeah, Stuart certainly played a few bombs at the right time, and probably just
That's what you expect at that sort of level, though, don't you? The good games where, you know, ends are changing with each bowl, and
Turn here.
Yeah, Stuart beat me first bowl
Keep turning.
convincingly first set, and managed to just wrestle away back in second set, and then he played great tie breaks. And
Well, David Corkill's in a bit of trouble here. 3 down. Again, when you ideally want to scrape a set because you've tied the first set, you don't want to be dropping a count.
No, and it's a difficult. He just played a real good pace at the backhand and didn't get back. Now he's got to flirt with almost being tight with
Yeah,
the same weight.
You automatically think in your head you've got to come in a bowl, but on this rink, in a bowl can just swoop under if you're not absolutely bob on for weight.
Yeah.
Under it.
He has got the backhand runner if he wants it.
Well, he's missed a couple by literally millimetres.
It's just that, I thought that was good.
He's saying he thought that was good, so he has got a result off the front red, which gets rid of 1, maybe 2. Could get it onto the jack when he's got the respot.
If he plays the forehand, just the draw, he might be tempted to just overreach because you're conscious if you're wanting to reach. This is probably
Hard shot on the draw. They've got two that are pretty close. Not saying it can't be done, but
from there he can see part of the jack on the backhand. That's quite a good view of what the player's got from the mat. And yeah, he's going backhand. Well, he's close again, Nick.
just a bowl outside again.
That's 3 bowls he's put down. That's just been a bowl high, that's all.
Again, for me, it was the right shot. Just a bowl outside.
Yeah, just didn't get the result. Couldn't afford to go tight because then it would have just whipped under. But that gives Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett a 6-2 lead after 4 ends in this second set. The first set was tied. We play 9 ends, so there's still 5 ends left of this second set. Great view there of the new World Bowls Tour World Championships set.
25 metres.
Not a bad start from John there.
No, it's pretty close, and you've got to be perfect to miss it because it's nearly in the road.
It's quite interesting. I've seen a couple of skips today when their players favoured a certain hand, they've let them stick to that as a lead rather than sometimes you would say, well, that looks like it was an open draw on the backhand, and yet David let Chris stick to his forehand because he's played it so well.
Yeah, definitely. Some do prefer one side of the rink, and if they're going good on it, leave them with it.
Well, John's had to swap there, and Les has turned his back on it. And Chris is changing. It hasn't really blocked the line of where his last one was.
He's probably just looking to...
He just took the jack away if he can, take it away. You need to really count at this end. They don't want to drop another end.
Yeah, like I say, one or 2 good ends and it's still all in the balance.
just overplayed that, but it's not in too bad a place.
David adds another, it may give him.
Something to play at. This is all on its pace, I think. Great line. No. Jonathan's just having a look if that's made a second. 2 to David Corkill and Chris Eady at the moment. So again, if Les misses with this, rocks the scores back close again. David Corkill was just having a look up at the scoreboard there. I'll tell you what, Les Gillett's close with this. Just failing to reach.
Yeah, a little bit harder for David to have an easy draw in. Die under the front one.
Looks like it's still a 2 at the moment, doesn't it? What David doesn't
Only
want to
one.
do is turn that red ball in. It's just the one, we think. So he'll want to get another in the count. Just a little bit of an alteration on his last bowl. Well, the height looks good. What's the weight like?
Doesn't look as though he's got enough.
One shot, Corkill and Eady.
Yep, just the one shot. Score now is Les Gillett and Jonathan Ross 6, David Corkill and Chris Eady 3. 4 ends left to play. Still all to play for, because I think Chris will go back to his longer length jack. If he could nail a lead, it puts all the pressure back on the Ross and Gillett partnership.
Yeah, still 4 ends to go. He's still got anything can happen here.
Captain 28 metres.
We could even go into our first tie break.
Could well do.
Good start, Chris. Come on, a bit more. Bit more. Well done.
Yeah, good start from Chris there. Must be fairly warm out there. Jonathan Ross felt he hadn't got a decent grip on that bowl.
Yeah, some use a cloth. Les has obviously got one there. But a lot of us don't. Trousers, probably.
I think that's on
Anything on two,
what
on
you're used to doing as well, isn't it, Habit? I think a lot of the outdoor players play a lot outdoors. If you're used to using a cloth for if it's
Stay high.
wet outdoors,
Stay high.
you tend to be used to holding a cloth in your hand.
Yeah, definitely. Most in the wet conditions.
Waterproofs and hats and gloves and all sorts.
Umbrella, snorkel.
Very good, Johnny. And last little bit. Last little bit.
Yep, good ball again from Jonathan there.
To be fair, it's a good end from both leads, to be fair. But John's just got the edge.
Yeah, which again means that David needs to get in for shot here. He's looking at it, but I think, yeah, he's just gesticulated, and that's a big word for this time of night, but he's looking at the forehand draw, I think. Oh, there you go, he's playing the backhand runner.
Get the team's not bad.
Perhaps when he wafted his hand, he was sort of saying I might be overplayed off beforehand.
Yeah, hard choice of shot, to be honest.
Down there. Running.
That line quicker may be okay, but
Yeah, well, then he's got a chance of getting into the closer to the centre bowl of Chrysides, which might shunt something through the head. Yeah, gone quicker. Looks better too, Nick.
yeah, he's certainly making contact, but it's whether he's getting enough.
Just didn't get the green bowl, it just slipped under to get the red.
Yeah,
Now this does leave Les an open draw, slight adjustment on his last.
yeah, putting this one in.
Makes a big difference. Only 3 ends to play. It's a good line. And just give up.
Even the 2, it's a massive 2 at this stage.
Yep, that means that Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett lead 8-3 now in this second set. They tied the first set 9-all. And there's 3 ends to play. So Corkill and Eadie partnership from Ireland need to shake this up. Try and get back in. They need 5 shots now. Interesting that in the first set it's a similar score, but the other way round. Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett came back to tie that set, and we could still have a tie break. And again, we always say the 7th end is quite crucial in games of 9-end sets, and that's an excellent lead from Jonathan Ross.
Yeah, great start again. It won't relieve any of the pressure on Chris and David, to be honest.
He's picked a good line. Well, what a great bowl, what a great reply there from Chrysides. They're not out of the game yet.
Touch unlucky to fall away, to be honest.
If you're enjoying these games from the World Indoor Bowls Championships here at Potter's Leisure, sponsored by Just Retirement. Don't forget we start again tomorrow morning at 9:30, live with Jason Greenslade and John Price versus Mark Harding and Philip Rowland. 4 more games of these pairs tomorrow for you. We also have a new World Bowls Tour website, which is worldbowlstour.tv, which will keep you informed of all the latest scores, results and news releases.
A good place. Well done.
David Corkill then being very supportive again, congratulating Chris, saying well done on that bowl there. It's a good place for a skip to use.
Yeah, definitely. If he, I know he holds, but if he needs to manufacture 2 or 3s, the jack doesn't very often go forward unless you're very unlucky.
Well, close here.
Well done, next danger away.
Great result there for Les.
Certainly played it very well. Good pace right into it. It was always into.
Now David need to draw to that jack. Might have just made it, not sure. Certainly can't see from the angle of commentary here as to which bowl is shot. I would favour Les Gillett. Will just draw this on our forehand, his backhand.
Yeah, certainly be looking to get another one around. You won't really want to get it near his other one.
Yeah, David Corkill really needs to score at this end.
Okay. I didn't want him near that.
Oh, there it is.
Ah, it's appeared. There's a lot of walking round ahead here. I'm not sure what the situation is. Our graphics show 1 red. David Corkill really needs to count at this end. I like to think he'd be fairly confident to draw this, Nick. Most of these players are well-established international back-end players that are used to playing to displace jacks.
Yeah, I mean, Les will be disappointed not to have added with his last.
Just a slight adjustment on your previous delivery, David. The weight was very good.
He said it was a better line.
Line looks good. All on the pace now. Great ball there. Definitely one. Umpire Francis Fletcher being called on again to let us know which is second shot. Going back to the red bowl. Just the 1 shot to David Corkill and Chris Eady. Means that there is a 4-shot deficit now with 2 ends to play. It's still there, isn't it? A couple of 2s ties them, takes them into a tie break.
Yeah, a couple of 2s, or like I said, it only takes one silly end. And
We've had counts of 4s and 3s within this game.
Hold on.
29 metres.
All could be down to this first bowl, this lead bowl of Chris Eady's. A lot of pressure on this now. Looks a touch under the line and probably under the weight as well.
Line was good.
Yeah, not quite got into that one.
Actually, it finished fairly central. So have you got a practice booked for later, Nikki, or is this it for today for you?
No, practice for me straight after the game. See whether I can find the centre of the rink.
Well done. Well done.
It's often better to try and practice straight after the game because then it's as close to.
Yeah, certainly the first 20 minutes, half hour before it cools down and everybody leaves the arena is the best example of the pace you'll get. After then, you'll just be turning your arm over.
It's a good ball from Chris Eady there. Yeah, one or two spectators will stop in to watch if they see that it's one of the bigger name players having a practice. An opportunity to watch you in practice, but there's also so much good hospitality here at Potter's. Several bars and the shows and entertainment that goes on into the wee small hours. Or there's the option of being tucked up in bed early to join us again at 9:30 in the morning. Well, David, need to slot another one in here. Line looks good, might have just overplayed it.
Hang on for 2, 15. Hang on.
And John's just indicating it's just one shot at the moment to green. So I think Les will just be wanting to match David Corkill's last bowl. Try and draw a shot himself, of course, but
Shot would be great for Les. A good second would be just as good.
Yeah, it's a closer one.
a lot of room here for David. Slight adjustment. Doesn't want to leave Les a shoulder, but definitely wants to be in counting for 2.
Yeah, David a bit desperate to get this one in, just half the difference.
Looks a good line. It's a very good line. Pace looks better. Ah, but that might have given Les that shoulder.
Yeah, force him into just over the pace.
That was great.
Well, big bowl here.
Not easy for Les, depends on whether he's going to go quicker or float at it.
Very confident player, Les, so he'll fancy his chances. All on the pace of this, I think. Very good for line. What's his pace like? Well, just lacking pace. That takes us into a nail-biting last end. The score now's 8-6. 8 to Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett, 6 to David Corkill and Chris Eady. Remember, guys, this first set was tied. If David Corkill and Chris Eady score 2 here, we'd have another tied set. If they score a 3, they win. And if Jonathan Ross and Les Gillett just win the end, they win the game. And that sets up the game against Paul Foster MBE and Alex Marshall MBE tomorrow afternoon. Second game on after 2 o'clock start. well, Chris.
Certainly doesn't look to be coming too bad.
Line looks very good. David's urging it on.
Not the way for a draw, if you want to play it, but the open hand's obviously there for you if you want it. It was.
Important to take your time here.
I think it's still there if you want to play it.
I think Les was suggesting there that John could change his hand if he wanted, but Jonathan opting to stay off the backhand. If he just slips either side of this bowl,
That was always the danger, sticking on the backhand.
and Chris going to his forehand now. I was saying earlier, most of the players that have practiced out there so far have said all forehands seem to be performing okay at the moment. But as we know, with the portable rink, things can change. It's not a bad bowl.
Yeah, certainly all four hands are accessible. It's just how you catch one or the other.
Well, lots of discussion going here, but this looks like a forehand. Draw to
Might be
make.
coming quick at them.
You're right. This has got to go somewhere, hasn't it?
Certainly under the pace he would have wanted.
Bear in mind that Jonathan Ross, for the last hour and a quarter hour and a half, has just been leading to a jack. It was his first running bowl.
Interesting to see what the David's going to just try and draw, or whether he's just to it with a draw, because he could set out of the frame if he's.
Yeah, if he just hangs the bowl high, sets it up, Les will go for it. But if he could just tuck that jack away, or just back toucher would be very nice.
Or not, because he could be one down on the spot.
Oh, you know what you were saying about framing a target?
Yeah, it's just far enough away, I think.
A lot of discussion going on out there. They've just asked the marker down below it to...
It's certainly not a good head now for Les to bowl to. He's got no straightforward draw on either hand.
Wherever you're comfortable, leave it. Go up there.
Right, whatever you're comfortable playing. As we were saying before, sometimes you're better to just let the skip decide on their own. What would you play in a singles game at this point? And that's what Les would play in a singles game at this point.
Close to wide.
Well, now.
Les still only needs to get rid of one if David doesn't add.
Yeah, David's really got to try and add another, I think, at the risk of not wanting to set up too big of a target. Les has got to adjust. Is he reaching with this? One away will do it.
Yeah.
So when you see players doing a lot of pacing round and choice of shot, and you've got to go back to that map fully decided what you're going to play.
Problem is there's lots of gaps, lots of edges,
And yet, like, as you mentioned before, there's no clean draw.
nope. And
Well-
one of the two green bowls he's looking to get as close to a red. So
Yeah, if he takes the red out, game's over.
at the moment, they're in a tie break.
Yeah, the Corkhill and Eady hold the two they need for the tie break. Les Gillett can't afford to take his own bowl out. Looking to play a runner again. Is this too wide, Nick?
Yeah, I think he was caught in between
Wow.
trying to play delicate way or quick.
Well, 2 conceded, that's the tie conceded, but they're looking for 3. Yeah, umpire's been called out to measure this. Well, what an interesting last end of bowls. A couple of shot selections I think I would have played slightly differently, but again, as we mentioned before, it's how you see it when you're out there on the rink.
Yeah, there's missing on the right side, and if you fancy you're only 2 down,
If this is 3,
looks
it
like
looks
it
like
is.
it could be 3. Game over. 3 to David Corkhill and Chris Eady. They take the second set, 9-8, and win the set and the game. And they go forward to play tomorrow afternoon against Paul Foster and Alec Marshall. Nick Brett, world number 1, thank you so much for your company this evening. Best luck in the tournament moving forward. And we'll be watching that Jack delivery on Sunday afternoon. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your company, folks. Good night.
Thanks everybody.